it's Bernadette, and for those of you who don't know me, I am the creator and channel of the Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck. I actually have to say now, my publisher makes me say the award-winning Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck. We won Product of the Year at the Cover Awards this year, and also the gold in that category. So I am here today, and I'm probably stumbling over myself because I've got a little bit of starstruck, and I'm just so thrilled to have Lui Krieg with me today. And he is an amazing, amazing sound healer. We'll get into all of the services that he offers, all of the things that he does for the community. Just an amazing guy, an amazing musician. And he owns Stone Age, the Stone Age store. For those of you who have been to Glastonbury, which I was 2 years ago, and cried all the way back to America because I didn't want to leave. And also the Stone Age store in Sedona, and I was in Sedona about a year ago. Some of you might know that. And the stores are, they do crazy, amazing readings, accurate readings, readings you've never heard of, like Orasoma readings. They have jewelry that will better connect you with your angels, with your spirit guides, really whoever you want to connect with, even yourself, the more deeply with yourself. And he's got this crazy, amazing video about Glastonbury for those of you that may not have been able to get there yet, or maybe you won't get there at some point, but you'll be able to feel like you are there and have been there once you see this video. And he's got music that's free to download, that can heal, that can activate all different kinds of things. So I'm going to let him take it away and tell you more about himself, like how he got started, and maybe something about the stores and his particular kind of sound healing and activations that he does. So Lui, thank you for agreeing to do this video. I know you're a really busy guy and very sought after and stay very booked. So thank you for taking the time to do this.
It's such a pleasure to be with you today, Bernadette. And just a little sign, just when we started just now, a big bee started buzzing into my healing wing. So I'll take that as a good sign. So yes. Well, I say hello and blessings to all your listeners. I'm zooming live here from Glastonbury, England, the obviously known as the heart chakra of planet Earth, and one of the most amazing power places where we have pilgrims from all over the world, and a lot of pilgrims from America that come and visit us here in Glastonbury every year, and they all, of course, come to the Stone Age store because I was the first crystal store in Glastonbury. I opened my shop 25 years ago, and I've been serving hundreds of thousands of pilgrims with my magic that I do. And that's what I want to share with you today. All the things that I do to help people to connect more to nature, to connect more to themselves, and to connect more to our Mother Earth and to their higher selves. This is basically what we do. I also want to tell you, Bernadette, are you called the Wild Ones?
I do. I call the folks that watch me and follow me and that I interact with and read for, I call them the Wild Ones, because my message through my animals is stay wild. Don't ever let anyone tame you. And
let me share with you, Bernadette, I have a second store in Glastonbury, which is called Wildwood.
Ah, really? That's your store too?
It's my store, Wildwood, Glastonbury. And Wildwood is all about connecting to the woods, to the woodlands, to the animals, to the fairies, to the different realms that there is. And it's on number 18 High Street. And it's my new baby because so many people are losing the connection to nature and to our Mother Earth. And for me, all during my life, Mother Nature and Mother Earth, and that includes the crystals that our Mother Earth gives us, has been my main teacher. I receive most of my teaching and most of my ideas and visions I receive when I meditate with my crystals.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know. That's very cool. Thank you for opening that store because, I found with the animal medicine that I'm practicing, and a lot of people here in the States consider it a shamanic practice, but I consider it more a natural practice, like you said, that we've forgotten a lot of as we live in the big cities So that's a great service that you're offering. It is a great service because the miracles that I've seen happen for just my clients have been astounding. So
yes, and I have to say one thing that I realized during this lockdown, that I saw a lot of people going out into the forest and actually reconnecting to the magical woodlands of England that we have. This is a woodlands that are thousands of years old, and they are so full of magic and wonder. And this is one thing where when we get to sounds and frequencies, is one thing that I love to meditate to natures to nature sounds like water flowing, birds singing, animal voices. So that's where I find a lot of my inspiration. And that's also that I use a lot of these sounds in my music, in my meditation music. I use a lot of flowing water, waterfalls, oceans coming in, the sound of different animals, also spirit animals. So that's where I think sound is a very important tool for us to connect to our spirit animals.
Absolutely. And it's just so you guys know, wild ones who are watching, when Lui said, I'm going to take this bee as a sign, it wasn't just about the bee itself. I just shared with him a story of a reading that I did some months ago where just the sound of bees just filled me everywhere, outside, inside. And I know what that sounds like because my family had apiaries. They used to be honey suppliers here in Florida. So I've been in the middle of, tons and tons of hives, and it's a thrum that you just, it's hypnotic. It's just hypnotic. I don't have another word for it. And we share a connection with bees. Lui, you worked at gentlemen's apiaries for 3 years there in England, right?
Yeah, I'm such a friend and bee lover, and I've one gentleman in my village, when he got 92 years old, he wasn't able to work his hive anymore. So I volunteered and I helped him for 3 years to collect the honey, and I so connected with the bees and with the sound of the bees. It is so hypnotic, and I learned so much about bees because they have their own language. They're such intelligent beings, and we have so much to learn of the bees, and we need to really, really remind us that the bees are at the moment in danger, and we cannot. That is one thing that Einstein said, if the bees disappear, we will disappear just a few years later. So we need to revalue and reassess our whole connection to nature. And there's so many things that we have to change today. And we hope that during this lockdown, that a lot of people are rethinking their lifestyle and rethinking their spiritual values, and that we're actually going to come out of this, what they call a crisis, with a totally new vision towards our own lives and towards nature and whatever surrounds us and the beautiful web of life.
Mm-hmm. It was the first time in my readings that an animal had come to me and told me, yes, we as bees are important to your client, but moreover, we want her to use our sound to do some healing, to do some inner work. And, I told her this, and she just looked at me, and then she turned her camera around, and she's got bee everything in her house. She was already fascinated with bees. So I haven't heard from her. I hope she did that, though. I hope she found an apiary where she could just sit in the middle and listen and have that music go through her and take, that, like you said, they have so many songs that they sing, the bees, just goes into her spirit and let them do, what they knew she needed. And so,
yes.
Oh my gosh. You know what you're talking? I'm already I'm already in my head going, okay, when can I put it in my schedule to go back to Glastonbury again and stay?
Oh, absolutely. Well, make sure to let me know so I can welcome you personally here, and I can show you this beautiful healing space that I have created. So, another thing that I wanted to tell you about my meditation music, that when I do meditation music, like I use the sounds of nature, but I use a lot of crystalline sounds. Can I just give you a little sample of some of the
Please.
that I'm using so people can actually connect to actually the crystalline sounds.
Oh, that'd be great.
Hi.
I'm so calm. I'm just like ready to nod off. Thank you for that. You know, so many people. Oh, wow.
Can I introduce you to one of my inventions, which is the smallest singing bowl on planet Earth?
That's beautiful, and it's got the flower of life on it.
Yes, it has indeed. And this is kind of very good for traveling, and it's very good for self-healing, self-activation, cleansing your energy field. Shall I play it for you, Bernadette?
Please, please, please.
And these are such pure tones, you see. And what happens with these, they seem to have an instant effect on our brain, because what's going on, so many people there, due to their lifestyles and their busyness, because it's like everybody's so busy these days. And then the brain, it's so difficult for people to switch off the brain. But if you have the right sounds, it seems like it's instantly, with these sounds, instantly it cuts through this thought patterns, and you just stay in the moment, and you just stay connected to your higher self. And because they're crystalline instruments, the actual raw material comes from Mother Earth. So at the same time, where we're connecting, opening up to the crown chakra to connect to the higher self and the stars and the sounds of the universe and the planets, at the same time we connect to the heartbeat of our Mother Earth. And suddenly it is so easy for you to switch off the mind. And that's then when the mind is still and clear, that's when we connect to the true source, to the higher spirit, to your higher self. And that's when the magic happens.
So do you sell those little, you know, I call them I'll call them individual singing bowls. Do you sell those?
Yes, I sell them on my website. They're available there on stoneage.co.uk. So
Okay.
are some of my other healing instruments. If I can show you another instrument that's really, really interesting.
Yes.
And that is what we all know about tuning forks, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, what Louis got here is a crystal tuning fork.
Oh,
And it's made,
one of those.
It's made from reconstituted quartz crystal, and you just strike it. And the thing is, it is audibly, you cannot really hear it. What happens is you have to touch the body, and then the vibration goes into the body and instantly touches every cell in your body and retunes your energy field in a very, very short amount of time. And it's also has a great effect on the water in our body, because our bodies are, as we know, 75% water, and water is is one of the most receptive elements towards sound and sacred sound and prayer, as we know by the teaching of Dr. Emoto from Japan.
Right.
Obviously, you're all aware of that. So these tuning forks also are used by a lot of my clients, are actually animal healers and animal whisperers. And they're very, very successful in using these tuning forks to, help animals with pain or aches or arthritis, or in general, we're calming them down. There's also one available in a smaller size. And this is just a really, really beautiful tool for everybody, where you can actually reset your energy field yourself with a very, very short meditation. And this is what I call practical use, Bernadette. I want to share as much as practical information with your listeners today. That's what today is all about.
And I really appreciate that. And Wild Ones, we'll put the links to all of these helpful spiritual tools in the notes below. So, check it out after you've watched the video. But, I have people every day write me and ask me, can they use crystals with their spirit animal work? Can they use this? Can they use that? Because, at that moment in their life, they might be having a little bit of difficulty connecting just through meditation or just through their own psychic awareness. So
yes.
This is my first introduction to my program for tools. Go ahead.
Can I share another one of my techniques with you?
Yes, please.
Yes. So what is really beneficial for your meditation is if you have 2 crystals that you're going to hold in your hands.
Okay.
While you're doing the meditation. Now you're going to rest those on your thighs and then sit. You don't have to sit upright. You can lay down. You can lay in your bed. You can be relaxed, whatever works the best for you. But these 2 crystals are activation crystals. Like in this case, these ones are selenite, and selenite is very good for cleansing the energy field. It's like a brush that brushes off any dust or any stuck energy fields from your aura. And if you hold these in your hand, slowly they will absorb any debris out of your energy field, and it will leave your energy field clear and focused and aligned. It's such an easy thing. And that, again, combined with the right music that you're listening to, you will go. It's not like a meditation where you're going to sit and think, oh, now I'm thinking this. It's going to be like a journey, like a shamanic journey, where you can see colors, you can see spirit animals, you can see spirit guides, you can enter into past lives, into future lives. You have an amazing shamanic journey during your meditation. That's how I like to meditate. It's going to be a journey, not just a complete sitting still trying to watch your thoughts coming in and out. It's got to be a journey that just flows by itself in a very, very shamanic, natural way.
Right. Okay. So I've always been, and I have people, again, ask me all the time, even though I specialize in spirit, totem, and power animals and psychic mediumship, clients always ask me about other modalities and always ask me about sound healing. So my questions for you are the questions that I've been asked and just didn't have answers to, which is, you have so many different shapes and of the crystals and the glass and your singing bowls, and they're in different spaces and places. And then I noticed that you took a pyramid and you which would spin the sound. So what's your why do you put the things where they're put? And on top of that, I'm guessing it's an intuitive thing. When someone comes in for a healing, you intuitively pick up the tuning fork, the tuning crystal, this bowl, that bowl. And, and so, but the placement in your office is really interesting to me. So why do you place what you have where? What's the logic or method behind that?
It is very simple. It's because I'm building up this shamanic journey. So, if you have one sound like a singing bowl, this sound will clear and activate one certain area in your body. So we all of us are made differently, and we all react different to sounds and frequencies. So what I have put together is a total journey through all the different sound instruments, and that starts from the ancient one, the Tibetan sounds, the Tibetan bowls, the bells, the chimes, and then going to the Native American tradition. I have the rattles, I have the shamanic drum, I have the didgeridoo from Australia, I have the big gong to bring everything to a grand finale. So I have collected over the last 20 years one of the most incredible collection of sacred sound instruments, and I have put them into a frequency journey that works for everybody, and there is a sound and a frequency for everybody in there that will activate the energy field. It's a very precise system as well, where first I start to clear the energy field from any debris or anything that is attached to it. Then I open up all the chakras and I go individually into all the chakras and empower them. Then the next section is that I'm gonna seal and activate. Once everything is balanced and it's perfect, I'm sealing the energy field, and then after about 40 minutes, I come to the grand finale with the gong, and that's when people are already in a very, very deep trance. I have done 1,365 one-to-one sessions over the last 10 years, and I have had a 99.9% success rate in reconnecting people, reconnecting them to their original, like I say, to their original source frequency that they're actually born with, and that we're, and then I reconnect them to their original spirit path as well. And when they come back from what I call the crystal sound activation, people's energy field are clear, they are aligned, and they're activated, and they feel like they're back on track, basically. They're back on their spiritual journey.
That is amazing to me. And I'll tell you, my very first experience with sound healing was, I have this, I don't even think she's of this world, but a body worker she makes the term massage therapist sound so very elementary, because the things that she can do, they just astound me every time. And one time she brought out the tuning forks, and I knew what they were, but I'd never had the experience. And I was like, okay, well, whatever, she's going to do it. And she hit that first ping, and it felt like my body melted into her table. And by the time she did her second and third wave over me, I had to lay there for 10 minutes before I could get up. But what I noticed was, after maybe like a week of that integrating into my body, my readings were, holy cow.
Yes.
So I have that done regularly, and I would really encourage you wild ones that, you find somebody who knows what they're doing, which Lui is obviously a master, and let them work on you like that, because even if you're not a believer, it doesn't matter. Sound is sound, vibration is vibration, and it's going to see.
Sound is everything. You cannot be a non-believer, because sound is everything.
Exactly.
Without sound, there is nothing. We know that the whole evolution, everything, it's the Big Bang, everything is frequency. We're all a manifestation of all frequencies. However, I find it interesting, because you mentioned that you had to lay there for 10 minutes. It's usually after my sessions, the clients they lay on the bed for a minimum of half an hour. And some of them will not get up for an hour, because they're in this aura of space, and suddenly there is this silence. And in the silence is when you integrate everything. And this is a very important part of the process of of the sound healing, is the silence afterwards.
And I learned that later. And then I scheduled, because when I tell you I couldn't move, I mean, I could not move. I couldn't think. It was like I'd been drugged. And I learned that later about being there for longer. And so now when I work with her, I arrange it with her where I can lay there longer and not force, because I had to force myself to reseat in my body and come back in. And
yes. Don't force yourself. Take your time to let everything settle, and you will know when you're ready to get up.
Right.
And I've had people that actually did not want to come back from this space. I had to actually bring them physically back because they felt so comfortable in this, well, different realm, different veil that they have entered, that they just wanted to stay there because it was so feeling like home, and it was so full of healing and so full of beautiful, beautiful colors and spirits.
So Lui, how did you get started in all of this? What led you, obviously the sacred contract, but what led you? Because the work that you're doing, anybody that does healing and, readings and that kind of thing, that is a sacred work, but you've also opened stores. Now you've got 3 stores, and that's a tremendous amount of work. And I really think that people sometimes don't understand that even though you're a business person, you could have picked to be any business person. You could have had a restaurant, you could have a barbershop, but you chose to do this.
Okay, let me start right there where you're going there. So I grew up in Germany. I grew up as an and very conservative circumstances, very German. I've never heard the word crystal till I was 20, or we didn't know what even healing means or New Age. Anything of that was far from our world. I then started training as an electronic engineer, and when I started a very successful career with one of the biggest German companies. But when I was 22, I had a very deep revelation, and I was told by Spirit that this is not the path I have to go in my life. And I've decided from one day to the other to quit my successful job, to sell my car, my motorbike, and give up everything, my life in Germany, and to fly with a one-way ticket to Southeast Asia, to learn how to live in the moment and to find a different direction in my life. I was guided. I was reading some books from Hermann Hesse and about Siddhartha and the traveling Buddha, and it inspired me to change my life and to go traveling. And I didn't come back for 2.5 years. And I, in fact, never stopped traveling for the next 15 years. And I went to India, I sat with gurus, I went to Australia to sit with Aboriginals, study what they do. I went to South America, I studied with the shamans there. I went to Africa to see and learn what the voodoo people do. I have had my inspiration, and I was everywhere I went, and I watched their spiritual approach. How do they live? How happy are they? How happy are they compared to them? And they have so little and they have so much. Why are they so happy? And so I traveled for 15 years to accumulate this experience of all different cultures and shamanism, and on that journey I was initiated into crystals by a Native American white light worker that took me on a journey. She gave me 2 crystals to hold and took me on a journey, and I suddenly appeared in a crystal cave under the earth, and I could see the crystals growing, and I was meditating between the crystals, and I had a download, and suddenly I understood what crystals and minerals are all about. It was an instant realization. It was not books that I studied and read. And that's when I decided that I will dedicate my life to promote crystals for healing and transformation. And that's when I started to create my crystal pendants, my crystal tools, my magic wands. And that was the first step to become a healer as well. And so then I ended up here in Glastonbury, and I started to practice crystal healing. So people come to me, and I was laying on the stones, onto the chakras, but I immediately noticed that there was something missing. And what was missing was the sacred sound. And once I added the crystal bowl, once I had the stones laid out on the chakras, and you can see that all on my YouTube channel, how that actually looks when I do it. Once I had the stones laid on and I started to play with the singing bowls and I started to beat the shamanic drum and I started to make the sound with the Tibetan bowl, that's when everything came alive and everything came together. And I developed what I call, and I have registered that as my own trademark, it's called the crystal sound activation. This is the sacred union of crystals and sound. They are the two most ancient and most powerful natural healing modalities on planet Earth combined together. And I practice this with the most extraordinary results. You will not believe the different look of the people when they come in and when they go out. Their face is completely different because suddenly all their muscles relax with the sacred sound. And then I have another magical thing that happens during this activation. People's true spirit comes through and their face started to morph and they suddenly become shamans or magical beings, or they become goddesses, and they suddenly seem to be reconnected. And that is a visual change in the face within 1 hour. That is all part of this whole crystal sound experience.
Oh, that's it. You know what? As I said, I cried all the way back to America, and then I spent a year looking at property in Glastonbury. I've got to get back there.
I know that happens to all the visitors to Glastonbury. They all want to move here. So let me just quickly just show your visitors my Glastonbury video.
Yes. Let's talk about that for a second. So that's the tour, right? And then the chalice well.
It's the chalice well. It's the main symbol, which is the Vesica Pisces, or the chalice well symbol.
Yep.
However, I spent 3 years making this video, and it shows all the best locations of Glastonbury. It shows the Tor, the Abbey, the Chalice Well, the White Spring, and it shows a lot of the activities that we have during the equinoxes and the solstices, and it shows a lot of the shops. And the whole video, there is no talking. There's nobody telling you. You're only watching and experiencing, and all the music that is embedded in this video is all made by local Glastonbury musicians.
Oh, wow.
And it's a very beautiful 40-minute experience, and it's more like a meditation, and it will actually it will take you here to Avalon, and it will reconnect you to Glastonbury, the ancient Isle of Avalon, where the myths and the magic is alive since thousands of years, and it is still alive today.
And I can attest to that. You know, it was like when I went to Sedona, you know, there's a lot of hype around Sedona, the rocks and the portals and the vortexes, yak, yak, yak. And I stay very grounded, and I'm a pretty cynical, like, especially in the woo-woo business, as I call it, because there are a lot of people that talk a lot of nonsense, but they don't deliver. And, you know, and I'm really committed to making it a real thing for people. So when I went to Glastonbury,
on that, so many people talk so much nonsense.
They totally do. But when I hit Glastonbury, when I landed in England, and then because I went to the Arthur Findlay College for a week, and then we went on to Glastonbury, and I have never, other than Sedona, and I've traveled pretty extensively, I've never felt more at home in my life. I know that I've spent time. You
know, we're sharing this. That was for me the same. The first time I came to Glastonbury, the first time I set my eye on the Glastonbury tour, I knew that this was my home from now on, and I will spend the rest of my life here. I don't want to go anywhere else. But I think, you see, the same thing happened to me when I went to Sedona. I fell in love with it instantly.
Yep.
However, I think Sedona is more on a visual level.
I could see that.
Yeah, because of these stunning surroundings. Sedona is all about, wow, amazing, these rocks, and everything is orange and red, so it activates the lower chakras in a way. Right. And that's why you feel very connected to the earth. Now, Glastonbury, it's all about the heart. Yes. And of course, the heart is the most important. So that's why Glastonbury is like the heart chakra in a human being. It's the most important. It's where everything meets. It's right in the center. And that is the same for the heart chakra of our Mother Earth, which is here in Avalon. And that's why people feel so strongly connected to this place. But also, you know, a lot of people have past lives where they have touched and experienced the magic here. And then with all these incredible stories of King Arthur, Guinevere, Merlin, Joseph of Arimathea, all these legendary, amazing, magical stories, everything comes together here and everything comes together in the heart. And that's where people receive so much inspiration.
Right. So, you know, you've mentioned the word magic a couple of times, and as a person who's been in your store and just what a feast for the eyes, the senses, the everything. You've got these just stunningly beautiful, absolutely some of the most well-made wands that I've ever seen. And I'm interested to know, like, you sent me a picture of this, the Ascension Spirit Owl Magic Wand, which is so beautiful. And then you've got, you know, the Nagini wand, and then the Wolf Spirit Wand, which oh my gosh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, I have this one right here. I can show it to your. I can show it to your listeners and viewers. So this is my Magic Spirit Wolf wand, and I put it together with obviously before I started I was doing the wolf, the howling. I connected to the spirit of the wolf, and when I put it together, I called in the wolf. The wolf itself is carved out of a bone, and it's beautifully carved in the detail. Isn't that the sweetest wolf? It's
very beautiful, and go ahead.
Also, I was guided to connect the wolf to the stone tiger's eye, because the tiger's eye is very much for strength and grounding, and for helping people to dare to come out of their molds and to explore new things and to take on new challenges, so to say. And then I have set all this is set with a Lemurian laser crystal that then channels and focuses the energy, and out of the tip of these wands basically comes an energy beam that is obviously guided and inspired by the wolf spirit. But you can then work with this energy, because I can feel now, if I roll over my hand like this, I can feel like a laser beam that touches my hand. And so with this, people do activations, chakra clearing, chakra balancing, but also there are personal tools for you to hold during your meditation, so you can easily connect to the spirit animal of your choice, of course.
And that's what I was going to ask you is, for the practitioner, it works, not that it works differently from practitioner to personal use, but I find sometimes that folks are a little hesitant to buy tools like that because they don't really know how to use them. And so if you're a private, like you're just using it for yourself, like you said, you can use it for the point, but what are some other ways that they could use the wands to work with their own spirit totem or power animals?
To tell you, one of the easiest ways would be actually to, when you relax, to lay it on your body.
Okay.
Right? If you point the crystal downwards, it will clear all your lower chakras. If you turn it around, point it upwards, the beam will clear all your higher chakras. So that's one of the easiest ways to actually connect with it, is by meditating with it. Now, I have to share with you, Bernadette, that I've made thousands of these ones. And I made my first one 30 years ago, when there was not even a crystal shop or a New Age store anywhere in sight. And all the ones I've made over the years, and we're talking thousands, they all were sold very, very quickly. There is a very, very big number of light workers, magicians, healers, Reiki practitioners, angel practitioners out there that love working with magical tools, because if you understand the true power and purpose and find out the ways to use them, the magic wand is the classical tool of the magician. So there is no better tool than a magic wand.
So, Lui, do you do custom work? So let's say that somebody has an animal that they want in a wand and particular stones, can you do that for them?
Yes, I'm just at the moment making a custom wand for a person in America that wants to use it to charge up their energy grids. So I do that as long as time permitting. The great thing, Bernadette, with this lockdown, I had so much time to create things where normally like you say, I'm running 3 shops. So I'm a little bit busy with other projects as well. But I've literally, it guided me to go back to my source, which is making these beautiful, beautiful tools. I also have this one here. I just want to quickly show a couple more. This is the, this is the Raven Spirit Wand.
Oh, wow.
The raven skull is carved out of black obsidian from Mexico. Again, we have the Lemurian laser crystal. We have the shungite at the sphere. This piece is very, very grounding and protective. But you know, see, you rub the raven skull with your thumb, and that's when you immediately connect to that powerful energy of the raven, and then you may make the sounds as well, like ah, ah, ah.
It is, wow. I just had it in my head that when, I didn't want to interrupt you, but when you stopped, I wanted to ask you what you thought of using sound therapy from the inside out, because I recommend to clients all the time, especially if we're working on blocks in their throat chakra, their animals come through and I'm like, okay, listen, you might feel a little goofy the first few times you do this, but getting that sound of that animal out of you, becoming that animal, shape-shifting, and then you just brought it up. That's crazy.
Absolutely, because Bernadette, there was a time when we used to communicate with the animals all the time, and we were speaking basic animal languages when we were connected to land and nature. That's part of what we were doing. And if you're, that's why we have still animal whisperers that have kept up this magical tradition, and they can talk to the animal. They know what the different sounds mean. And I think to produce the sound of your spirit animal is one of the best and most direct techniques to connect straight to the source of it. And so in my practice as a sound healer, I always tell everybody, see, I'm teaching my activations now. I have set up the Crystal Sound Academy 5 years ago, and I have 50 students that I teach what I'm doing. Oh, and wow. Part of what my teaching is all about is voice activation, to inspire people to use their voices, whether it is for singing, whether it is for chanting. But one of the best, because this is a muscle that needs to be trained, one of the best way to train your voice muscle is to make animal sounds. So I talk, you know, when I cycle to work, I go past the sheep, I go meh, meh. Then I go past the cows, I go moo, moo. And then in between I talk to the birds, and I love to do the tiger roar. Are you ready for that?
Yes. I'm sitting back because I know it's going to blow me back.
Wow!
You know, it's...
Now, you know what just happened?
What?
Yeah. This is the principle of resonance. When I did the tiger roar, all my crystal instruments started to vibrate and make a sound. Mm-hmm. That is the principle of resonance.
Yep. And you know, what's interesting for me is I know that was really authentic, because when you watch this video back, your eyes instantly changed, your face changed, and I was watching you morph into a tiger that's roaring in a really intense kind of way, you know? And because I travel, I love going to animal sanctuaries and supporting animal sanctuaries. And one of my greatest wishes is that anyone who is interested in connecting more deeply with their animal guides could experience in person a lion or a tiger roar, because it will light you up from the inside out. And even when they're just roaring, just to roar, just to say good morning, the sound is so cacophonous, it just
Oh my
It will
God.
take you and wah, wah, wah.
Imagine a roar like that in the morning. Then you're truly awake with a tiger, the lion's roar, the jaguar. Bernadette, may I ask you, do you know what your spirit animal is? And would you like to share that with me?
Sure, I do. So one of the reasons that I started whatismyspiritanimal.com and then did my deck is that I had a vision one morning. I was walking down my hallway, and the hallway and my living room just filled with animals from all across the world. And what they told me was that I was already working so much with animals, and people were really confused of the terms spirit, totem, and power animal, that they wanted me to develop a method like you developed your method with your healings. That spirit animals mean one thing, totem animals mean something else, and power animals mean something else. Even though the terms are all interchangeable, it just classifying them makes it easier for people to work with the energy. So my spirit animal is also my totem animal and my power animal, and that's a bear. So I'm a triple Scorpio, but ever since I was a baby, I have been obsessed with bears. And then before I knew anything about metaphysics, somebody told me to look up, all my friends were like, ooh, you've got to see what your name means. And I was like, okay. So I looked up my name, and Bernadette is the feminine counterpart to the name Bernard, which is a French name, and from French to English is translated brave, strong bear. So I was
already embedded in your name.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
You've got a great name, by the way, Bernadette King.
You like that name?
I love it. You know, I share something with you.
Tell me.
They call me the King of Crystals.
I love that. That's so cool.
This is my title. I actually have my little and people. I'm not that I ask people to call me that, but they just say, "Lui, you're the Crystal King," kind of thing. Can I share with you my experience with my power animal?
Please do. That would be great.
Yes, I was always kind of drawn to different animals, but something happened to me pretty exactly 3 years ago when I went for a walk with my fiance in the famous ancient woodlands called the New Forest in England, which is not far away from Glastonbury, but it's a beautiful place, and there's wild horses there. There's open forest everywhere. There's the most incredible trees and farms, and it's ancient, classic, traditional English woodlands. And although they call it New Forest, one of the oldest forests. However, we were walking through the forest, and suddenly, right there in front of us, maybe 20 meters, was the white stag standing there, looking at me. Both stopped in our tracks, and I connected with the eyes of the white stag, and I was guided to do a sound which sounded something like, and he started to really like that, and he reacted to that sound, and he looked at me, and maybe because of my white hair that he thought, oh, this is some kind of a brother, and we looked at each other for 2 minutes more. I took photos. I even made a short film clip to actually capture this most magical moment. We call the white stag, we call it the white hart here in England. And it was such a powerful experience for me to look the white hart straight into the eye, connect to him from the heart chakra vibration, tell him that I love him. And he blessed me with his presence for 2 minutes before I stepped on a branch and he started to jump away. But this was one of my pinnacle moments in my life. You know, when nature confirms what you're doing, whether it's by a rainbow appearing or certain animals appearing, this is when nature confirms you are on the right track. Keep going, buddy.
That is an amazing story. And, you know, a white anything animal is such a divine sighting. A white buffalo, you know, one of the spirit bears, a pure white horse, that kind of thing. So I know that the wild ones will love the photos.
What I'd like to little bit tell you about is a totally new direction that my life has taken. One thing has been happening, Bernadette. One thing's been happening to me since years and years. In fact, it's been happening to me since I was 20. When I was 20, people said, "Oh, you look like Rod Stewart." And when I was 30, they said, "Oh, you look like this." And now since years, people wherever I go, they stop me. They say, "You look like Robert Plant. Are you a rock star?" And so I've decided to do something about this. And I've decided to change my musical style and to produce a spiritual rock album. And I have now my own rock band. I have performed and I have 2 singles out on YouTube. If I want to share that with you, I'd love to share it with your listeners.
Sure.
Because also it's all about reconnecting. It's all about the earth. I have one song which is called Spirit Rise. If you go to Lui Krieg YouTube and put Spirit Rise, there's an incredible video, and it's all about let the spirit rise again. It's let the waters flow free, let the energy flow free. The fires are burning, there's chaos. We need the phoenix to rise from the ashes, and we need to let spirit rise again for mankind, because spirit it's all that we've got, together with love and the heart, and that song is all about that. I have a second song out which is called The World is Upside Down, which reflects on the situation of our Mother Earth in this moment in time. It's all about the world is upside down, let us turn it around. The world is spinning out of control without heart and soul, and it's a track that will turn your world upside down if you watch it. Okay.
Well, the links are below in the notes section, so people can, you guys can, whoever's watching this, you can have access to, getting these amazing tools that Lui so generously creates for us. I hope that you all learned a lot. I learned a lot about sound healing. It's such a fascinating thing to me. And the teaching that you do, Lui, about sound healing, do you do any of that online? So like us over here in, across the pond, can we?
That is still in process, Bernadette. Okay. It's something I need to put more energy behind, because it's so important to remind people of the ancient tradition of sacred sound. And this is one thing that I wanted to say as well. It doesn't matter whether it's a small singing bowl like this, or if you have some chimes, some Tibetan bowl. The more sacred sound you can do yourself in your daily meditation practice, the better it is for the soothing of your soul. I think the more we expose ourselves to sacred sound, the better it is for our soul and for our spirit to grow, and for our energies to stay clear in these very, very difficult times that our planet is going through at the moment.
Oh, that is so true. So true. So, gosh, thank you very, very much for introducing, to the wild.
You're so welcome. Maybe the last thing I want to say that I find still important is, please, for your listeners to go on my website, stoneage.co.uk, and listen to some of my meditation CDs, because they're on another level, and you can listen to parts of it for free, and then you can download them for a few dollars, but they will change and make a profound change to your meditation techniques. And then if you remember holding the crystals, listening to the music, that's when the magic happens. And that's when you're healing and reconnecting on a physical, emotional, and spiritual level. And I think it's all so important at the moment that we step up our level of power and our groundedness to actually be able to deal with the challenges that are coming at us. And that's why this is what I want to promote to your listeners, is the sacred union of crystals and sound.
Well, and you know what I was thinking we hadn't even talked about yet is we're bombarded with so much low electronic frequencies and everything that because of cell phones and computers, our bodies are really affected by that. I mean, the studies have been around and they're just really now coming out. So the sound healing that you're offering and then the activations, the clearings, and then the sealings, that was really interesting to me, can help heal you from all of that damage that the cell phones and the computers are doing, the power lines that are all around us, and we don't realize yet the effects those are having on the human body. But what you practice can really help offset those, any kind of potential damage that those might give. And
again, you see, Bernadette, if you understand that everything is frequency and sound, then our own energy field is all frequency and sound. And if our energy field is on a high frequency level, these frequencies cannot interfere into our personal space that easy. Now, there's one thing that's coming up that I just want to mention it, which is this 5G thing. And you know, Bernadette, my question to everybody out there is, why do we need 5G? I don't need 5G. I'm happy with 4G. Why do we need to step up this whole vibrational confusion level onto another level? What I'm happy with, I don't need it. And this 5G is one of the things that we seriously to try to avoid even coming into being. Anyway, whatever happens, with the help of crystals and sound, we can stay grounded and we can stay powerful, and we will persevere and we will stay strong.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much. And again, wild ones that you're listening, please subscribe to Louis's YouTube channel. Check out his website. If you're in Sedona, if you're in Glastonbury, make sure you go into Stone Age, because the crystals that they have in those stores, you guys, they're next level. They are specimen quality. They have some of the most unusual stones that I've ever seen in my life. And listen, I've been in the woo-woo business a long time. I've seen a lot of stones. So, if you have questions, you can email Louis through his website. And
very welcome. Very welcome.
We thank you so much.
Of course, I want to invite all your listeners to come to Glastonbury at least once in their lifetime to experience the magic of this beautiful place.
And it really is magical. So thank you guys so much. And, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. If you don't have your copy of the Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck, it is the most comprehensive animal deck on the market. 100 cards in the main deck and another 49 cards available, which gives you 149 different animals to work with. Super crazy, over-the-top, powerful deck, no joke, that also uses images of real animals. They're not artist renderings, so you get one of my favorite cards, the Warthogs for the Two of Cups. They're so perfectly paired. So you get the energy of the real animals. And again, thank you guys for listening. I hope that this was valuable to you. And what's the most important thing? To stay wild.